What's going on, everybody? Jay Howe here on the PTR, testing out and showcasing the Wizard's new set. You're going to see that the Delsere's Magnum Opus. This one is a little different. It took me a little bit to kind of say, hey, how can I manipulate this? And I've been messing with a couple of different builds so far. I feel there's a lot of fine-tuning to do, but I stumbled upon some stuff with some of the gear that I had and some of the stuff that I picked up in the PTR community buff. And the arcane build is something I'm going to bring in another build. This is going to be something that I want to showcase around Energy Twister and Magic Missile for a couple of different reasons. Now you're going to see with the set bonus, if you're not familiar with it yet, casting Arcane Orb, Energy Twister, Magic Missile, or Shock Pulse reduces the cooldown of slow time by 2 seconds. So you can see as I cast that there, we get it back and we can cast it again. And that's all well and good because there's going to be a lot that you're going to benefit from this. I'm going to go over some of the gear that I've picked up and show you just how that's going to work. You'll see the 4-piece bonus. Enemies affected by your slow time take 2,000 weapon damage every second. So that's cool because they're just in there and that's pretty much, you know, they're taking a little dot spell there. And that's just doing damage, not anything crazy, but, you know, the extra damage for them just sitting in there is good. So placement definitely helps. And then the 6-piece bonus. Enemies affected by your slow time take 750% more damage from your Arcane Orb, Energy Twister, Magic Missile, and Shock Pulse abilities. Now, one of the things I've put together is simply, it's kind of old school, but it's also a little bit different flavor and a little bit different feel. Magic Missile with Conflagrate. This is the one that splits your Magic Missile into 3 little fire orbs. You can see them shoot out there. That's really neat because they pass through, plus they do a bit of damage. And again, that ties in directly with the set bonus there. Energy Twister with Gale Force. This is a fire one. This actually is not necessarily the main attack, but in certain circumstances it definitely can be. Enemies hit by Energy Twister take 15% increased damage from fire for 4 seconds. Now I'm going to show you a way that you can actually utilize Magic Missile in the old school way for you folks that have been around for a while. But you can go either direction and I'll show you how that works. Now here's the part where things get really interesting. Now obviously slow time is the main beneficiary here with the main skills, and that's kind of what the set bonus revolves around. You'll see it in the 2-piece and the 6-piece bonus there. Now, one of the other new items is this one right here, Crown of the Primus. This is really cool. Slow time gains the effect of every rune. This is fantastic because it does so much for you. It increases the movement speed reduction to 80%, and it reduces the cooldown to 12 seconds. That can be very beneficial in certain circumstances, but I'm going to go over a couple pieces of gear. And like I said, the 2-piece bonus alone makes it so that's not that big of a deal. You cast a couple times, and that 12 seconds is basically negated by a couple of casts. This right here, enemies caught by slow time deal 25% less damage. That's nice. So if they do hit you, they'll do less damage. The best part about this is that the projectiles get slowed by 90%. So if for whatever reason you get blinded and you can't see that, it's not going to hurt as bad. Time Warp. Enemies caught in the bubble of warped time take 15% more damage. So now it all of a sudden becomes a damage buff. And you can couple that with the Bane of the Trap gem, which is going to be slowing stuff down. And then now you have that 15% increased damage, plus whatever level you have your Bane of the Trap. In this case, it's a little over 27%. So it's just working really well. Now, one of the things that I noticed when testing this here, enemies that enter or leave the slow time area are stunned for 3 seconds. One of the cool things that I found out about this, and I do need to do some further testing on elites, but I noticed the phasing beast that you'll fight that teleport out, they were getting stunned when they teleported out. So that was a really nice thing. Next up, stretch time. Time is sped up for any allies standing in the area, increasing their attack speed by 10%. So you'll see a little buff is going to pop up right here, and that's going to increase our attack speed. So we're benefiting greatly from that slow time there. A few things are going to be old school, of course. The increased damage here from Magic Weapon, Force Weapon, that's just a straight 20% damage increase. That's nice to have. Energy Armor with Prismatic Armor. this is going to keep your resistances up as well as keep you protected there by increasing your armor. It does decrease your arcane power, but it's not that big of a deal. Now, one of the things that I was looking at was using some type of ice armor with the Halo of Arlise. This is the new ring that was released. This helps reduce melee damage. Now, this is where I'm trying to figure out how can this fit in. Because technically, if you have enough slow times up, you can pretty much create an entire slowing field around you. And so all the enemy projectiles are going to be really slowly coming at you. So it gives you an opportunity to avoid any of that slow projectile damage. Now, if something gets towards you or gets close to you, then maybe that Halo of Arlise could come into play. For right now, I'm not necessarily worrying about that, but I am working on a way to maybe incorporate that and see if that's really worthwhile. But that really has to be tested at higher, greater rifts. Teleport with Wormhole. Now, if you haven't been on the PTR, I don't know, not a lot of people seem to have talked about it, but there have been some vast improvements to the way teleport is working. You can teleport through walls in different areas where you couldn't necessarily teleport before. And this is just working a lot better for me. Perhaps I just haven't been playing the Wizard that long, but this has been a huge improvement and definitely a lifesaver. Now, elemental exposure is just something that I was messing around with when I was messing with a 2-piece Tal Rasha bonus, which is another part that I was going to talk about. But for now, we're just going with any type of skill that goes in here. The elemental exposure can come into play at a different time. Evocation, not really that important. Like I said, you can pretty much go with something different here. Illusionist, Conflagration to get the extra crit damage. This is kind of an open-ended one. Astral Presence, this gets your arcane power regeneration around. That way when you do need to cast Energy Twister, it's there. Unstable Anomaly for the extra life, and Blur to decrease damage. Now, as far as some other pieces of gear go, in order to get the 6-piece bonus and get the slow time helm, you're obviously going to have to run the other pieces, which is shoulders, gloves, chest, pants, and boots, and then that helm there, and then the Ring of Royal Grandeur to get your set piece, or your set bonus. So the other part that I was looking at is the Tal Rasha bonus. Now, I needed better Tal Rasha amulet, and I was going to couple that with the belt, and if you can run the belt and the amulet, you'll see that damaging enemies with one of the elemental skills there is going to cause a meteor of the same damage to fall from the sky. 8-second cooldown on each one, that's fine. But this actually works really well because of this item right here, Ransler's Folly. You'll see in the secondary there, Energy Twister periodically pulls in enemies within 30 yards. Periodically means a lot. And I've been testing this a lot, just going around casting Energy Twister. This works really well. You don't have to run with Black Hole anymore. It almost acts like a black hole, and even on a better cooldown. I love this thing right now. So I got a decent roll here. That's nice. I was running with a Hellcat here. I don't have any type of Witching Hour, but you can see here Magic Missile. Now I'm rolling Magic Missile on the belt and pants because I am using that with the Mirror Ball. And this is where I'm going old school. Magic Missile fires, and this can fire 1 to 2 extra missiles. Of course, we've got a 2 in here. And then we rolled Magic Missile damage on here. So this is all working out really well. Now this could roll a little bit better. I don't necessarily need the cooldown reduction, but that is working just fine for me. But you're going to see I'm coupling this together with a Simplicity Strength gem. Now, having the set bonuses here between the 2 and the 6-piece bonus, you know, I can cast a Magic Missile and get the cooldown reduction on that. And then I've also got the slow time dealing more damage with the Magic Missile, coupling that with the Bane of the Trap that I referenced before. And there's still some fine-tuning to do. But if I go and I cast this, and I'll show you here in 1 second, I'm getting 70+ million crits just off of my primary skills. That works really, really well. So right now I went pure offense with the Hellcat Waistguard here, just something I had laying around that had a decent roll on it. Rolled some Magic Missile damage on there, and it's working fairly well. The amulet, like I said, I want to try a 2-piece Tal Rasha there. Now here's another new item. Now I got lucky because I have an ancient one rolled on here. you'll see here in the secondary, your skill cooldowns are reduced by 4 to 6 seconds. And in this case, I have 6 seconds. So I have decent damage on this. The weapon damage rolled terribly, but everything else seems to be okay. And I'm using this because teleport comes around a little bit quicker. Slow time, I have that in place. Now, if we didn't have that, you would see that it'd be a little bit different. You'll see it takes 3 or 4 casts there in order to get that back. And again, it also comes back if you cast Energy Twister, one of the other ones. So coupling that together is allowing me to have just an entire field of slow time. And again, I'm getting the benefit of every single rune. I'm getting the attack speed bonus. I'm getting the damage reduction on them. I'm getting the damage increase from my skills. All of that is being coupled together to make a pretty interesting build. And I'm going to be testing this in some higher grader rifts, a little bit higher than 37 obviously. But I'm going to be doing this quite a bit. Now, there's another build I'm going to show you guys in a separate video that's going to revolve around the new Triumvirate for Arcane Orb. This thing is really, really incredible. I need to fine-tune my gear, roll some stuff in the right place, but I'm out of crafting material, so I'm working on that right now to get that in place. So you can check me out. I'm testing a lot of this stuff over on Twitch at twitch.tv/jhow4444. You can check me out. I'm testing all the different classes on the PTR. I was testing the Wizard tonight and having a lot of fun with it. Doing the Arcane Orb build. I'll show you guys that. If you were part of that stream, thanks for watching and participating in that. If you haven't, feel free to come by and check that out when you want. But I will show you, now I'm only going to hop in T6. As we know, most of the new set bonuses, instead of nerfing everything, they've pretty much buffed everything. But I want to give you guys an idea on exactly how this can work. So I'm going to go out into an open area. And this is one of the things, you'll see when I cast Energy Twister and the way this works, so long as I put slow time down and then cast it in there, it just kind of pulls everything in. And you can see that everything is pretty much dying, and I'm not having to cast much. So it's pulling stuff in at a pretty rapid pace, and that's what I was trying to allude to, in the sense that it takes place of black hole, and the radius is 30 yards, and you'll see all the spears and the stuff that I can easily dodge just by running this. And so we have a decent cooldown. Here's an elite, and we'll run them in here, and there I can teleport out. But here's another thing I want to show you, is that I'm getting some fairly large crits just by running Magic Missile, and it doesn't take a lot of effort if I want to just kind of run around. I get the extra increased attack speed if I stand in here. Playing a little loosely, this is only T6, but you'll see that between the bracers and slow time and the Energy Twister, I don't have to do a lot. And I can actually pretty much sit there and run, and they'll burn and take that damage because they're getting the dot on here. The 2,000% weapon damage every second. I don't have to do a lot there. So a couple things that I'm also going to be testing is, of course, running a two-hander and being able to see if we can bump that dot damage up as well. Finding different ways to make use of this. But running old school, maybe some stuff you have laying around, especially if you've been playing a while, the mirror ball, finding the new items once 2.2 goes live. There's a lot of interesting stuff that you can do. There's an idea. You can see the damage only doing so much, but the minute we pop it in slow time, our crits get much larger. So you'll see I'm not even going to use Energy Twister, and the fact that we're getting the cooldown on slow time, it's just allowing us to go through here and essentially just gotta burn everything down fairly easily. And here's the I can't avoid Jailer, unfortunately, but you can see the slow reduction of everything here. It makes him very easy to avoid, and that's what happens when you run into it, and then of course run into his explosion. So it doesn't cure all. You still have to play. But that's it. That is one of the builds that I'm testing. I think it's one of the reasons I wanted to put this video out, in the sense that Delsere's, or Delsere's, however you want to say it, I haven't heard the actual pronunciation, but however you want to say it, at first I was skeptical. I thought this is only going to be a support build, and it certainly can be a support and attack build, and I think that's what I'm excited about, is that it's going to be a multi-purpose build. The Tal Rasha build, dropping meteors, and of course having all the right gear in place there, is extremely powerful. And I'm trying to tie in something different to be able to use going forward, especially something to get excited about with this new set. And I think there's even more possibilities to come. Like I said, I'm going to put out another video around the Arcane Orb build, which, stacking everything just with gear I had laying around and not even optimized, I was getting 300 and 400 million crits by being able to stack up the right amount of stuff there, namely with the Triumvirate there. And so I'll show you that in a separate video. Which one's better right now? It could be the Arcane Orb build, but I'm going to continue to test both of them. And like I said, check me out on Twitch if you want. Going to be doing a lot there, a lot of theory crafting going around, a lot of input, playing with you guys as well. So feel free to stop by and participate there. But that's it. That's all I really wanted to show you guys with the new set, and just something, an idea if you're not playing the PTR, if it doesn't interest you. I want to give you that light at the end of the tunnel that hey, there's a wardrobe you can click on. But I wanted to give you guys a light at the end of the tunnel that Firebirds is somewhat coming to a close, although they're revamping that as well. But it's going to give you a different type of play style. So hopefully you enjoyed that. I look forward to seeing you guys around for many more videos in the future. I'm going to be keeping up with all the seasons, all the new patches, all that stuff going forward. So if you want to be a part of that, feel free and subscribe to the channel. Doing a lot more going forward. Like I said, always check me out on Twitch as well if you want. If you like the video, if you like anything that you're hearing or watching, feel free to hit that like button because that is always appreciated. Till next time, guys, as always, happy hunting. We'll see you again.